The thing I always remember is that in April 2018, people said to us, why don't you just stop balloon launching? Because peace is at hand. We need you to stop because of all of this peace. And now, in 2020, people have said to us, war is at hand. You need to stop. Always, balloon launching has been unpopular. It's unpopular at every time, in times of war and times of peace. But the balloon launching is important for two reasons. The first is that balloon launching is still the most cost-effective way to be able to get a large number of Bibles into the southern portion of North Korea. So we use many different ways to get the Bible into North Korea. But balloon launching allows us to get about 40,000 Bibles a year into that very important part of North Korea. When we started the balloon launching process, basically 0% of North Koreans had seen a Bible with their own eyes, according to the North Korean Human Rights Database. As of 4 years ago, that number had increased to almost 8%, and it's probably much higher than that today. So balloon launching is effective. That's the first point. The second point is that there are bigger issues here than balloon launching. In 2014, the North Korean government, responding to the United Nations, called all forms of missionary activity as acts of terrorism. That makes them different than any other country that persecutes Christians. There's 70 countries around the world where Christians are persecuted. But only in North Korea does North Korea enlist the help of other nations to persecute its Christians. So, for example, in China, that's one of the other countries that we help the Christians there. But the Chinese government doesn't get everyone else's help to try to persecute their Christians. But North Korea does. And so what's happening today that's so important is that North Korea has said it is necessary for us to get the help of China and South Korea and other nations to prevent the spread of missionary activity. So balloon launching is really only one of many forms of missionary activity that will be eliminated by this kind of mindset. Today, the focus is on balloon launching because that's what North Korea has made the issue to be. But at other times, North Korea has complained about other forms of ministry activity, including radio broadcasting, the publication of the testimonies of Christians who are suffering, the publication of those testimonies in South Korea and around the world. So giving up balloon launching is not just about balloon launching. It basically is making it the end of all private ministry activity to North Korea. And all future ministry activity can only be done with the approval of both governments. And that's what makes the situation so important. So if I were to make a comparison, it would be like at a national level if someone said, why doesn't Korea just give up its territorial claims to Dokdo for just a little bit? Because that creates such danger with Japan. You know, if we could just give up those territorial claims for just a little bit, only a little while, then everything would be much calmer, and then at that point we can reassert our territorial claims. There are some things that once you give them up, you don't get back. And once you cross certain lines, there's no going back. And so in this case, when people say, just stop launching balloons for a little bit, what that establishes is the terrible precedent of something that we will never get back. And so we have to stand firm that private ministry activity is absolutely essential, especially when it's conducted safely and respectfully, as we've done for 15 years.
지금 풍선사역을 중단하라고 하는 것은 우리나라가 독도를 잠깐이라도 그냥 포기하고 일본에 그냥 주는 게 어떻겠냐. 잠깐이라도, 지금 시간이라도 이거랑 똑같습니다. 일단 우리가 포기를 하게 되면 그 선은 다시 돌아오지 않습니다. 그래서 이 순간이 남한 기독교인들에게는 선교를 위한 아주 중요한 그런 선이라고 생각합니다.
Yeah, once you cross that line that says that private ministry activity should be stopped because of national threats, then you can never go back to the other way.
이 풍선사역을 국가적인 위협이라고 규정을 지어서 저희가 풍선사역을 못하게 된다면 정말 이 시간은 다시 오지 않습니다. 저희 남한 기독교인들은 더 이상 풍선사역뿐만이 아니라 다른 그 사역, 선교 사역을 하는데 제재를 받게 되고 그 시간 다시 오지 않는 겁니다.